And furthermore, as a cast, while I understand the jovial and adversarial relationship of the humor we indulge.
Hey, Tom, what you doing there?
You know what I'm doing? I'm writing a letter to Noah about his essay topic this week. That's what I'm doing.
Tom, just quick thing.
Yeah, no, Heath, I know what you're going to say. Oh, this is just all in good fun. But listen, I have serious concerns about how technology is affecting society, and dismissing them with a winking essay about Luddites does not give my ideas their due.
No,
I just want...
Tom, that's all fine, but it's just that...
Look, I am being entirely cordial in this letter, but I'm saying that using our show, to actually dismiss the ideas of our colleagues, that is backhanded, and I like to think that Noah would respect me enough to just...
You aren't typing on an iPad.
Wait, what?
That is a Cheesecake Factory menu. You are typing your email on a laminated Cheesecake Factory menu.
Okay, so do you have the charger for this one, Ben? Because it's... Hello, and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts. Because this is the internet. That's how it works now. I'm Tom, and I'll be desperately deleting my browser history, but I can't thump my head into the wall in frustration at the futility of modern life alone. Joining me to celebrate the downfall of humanity, Heath and Cecil.
Dude, you should have called front segment faster for the centipede. That's on you. Everybody knows that.
And we're going to be live streaming this whole thing. If I could get this goddamn thing to work, for Christ's sakes.
And also joining us tonight, two men whose access to the internet has been throttled by the federal government, but for very different reasons. Noah and Eli.
Yeah, pretty sure mine was just for being a registered Democrat. Fucking Georgia.
Georgia. That's why my internet got slowed down. It's crazy.
Oh, God.
Now, before
Georgia
we get
is a child.
No, okay. All right. Nope. Far afield. Let's take a moment to thank our patrons. We didn't have patrons, you wouldn't be hearing this. So, maybe you should be thanking them and not us. So go ahead. I'll wait. That was nice. We should do that more often. If you'd like to learn how to join the ranks of the recently asked kissed, be sure to stick around until the end of the show. And with that out of the way, tell us, Heath, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
Today, we're going to be talking about the Luddites.
All right, sounds good. And Noah, you read the article and then almost certainly buttressed your understanding by reading and committing to memory half a dozen significant volumes in clear violation of the spirit of this show. So are you ready to inundate us with more details than we can reasonably digest?
Well, to be fair, I already knew some of the stuff going in.
Oh, my God. Who were the Luddites? Who?
Well, okay, before I answer that, I should take a minute to explain.
Oh, my God, of course. Because otherwise you have to get to the fucking point.
Tom gets me. So if you look up Luddite in the dictionary, you'll get something along the lines of a person opposed to increased industrialization or new technology. In the modern day, it's mostly used to describe people who resist buying new tech or people who are hopelessly befuddled by how to turn the ringer off on their phone. But this comes from a pretty gross misreading of the historical context of the Luddite movement.
Plus, it is a terrible picture of Tom. Like, if you talk to them about putting in a new one, they got some nice ones at the wedding.
All right, so to understand where the Luddites were coming from, we have to start with the Napoleonic Wars, which ravaged pretty much all of Europe between 1803 and 1815. That war had pretty much engulfed Europe from the moment we killed off the last Neanderthals, but the continent had never seen a war quite like this one. While there's no agreed-upon death toll from the war, the estimates range from 2.5 to 3.5 million military deaths and between 750,000 and 3 million civilian deaths. And yes, other European wars had racked up death tolls like that, but they generally lasted 100 years or so to get there. The scale of death in the Napoleonic Wars was unprecedented. Among white people, colonial conquest routinely killed people on those scales. But this is the 1800s, so that doesn't count yet because they were brown.
It didn't count yet. Did I miss a memo? Because we still seem pretty fucking unconcerned.
They kneel during the anthem.
Yeah, to be fair, death tolls and colonial conquests were called your score at that time.
Or you're welcome for our burden.
It seems like the only time we're favoring brown over white was with eggs.
All right, so the key, though, is that the Napoleonic Wars made for some tough living in England. Tougher in all the places where civilians were dying, but tough in England nonetheless. Now, the common people in England were already having a rough go of it as rural life and local manufacturing were being increasingly supplanted by industrialization. So the standard of living was already declining, and killing a shit ton of the young men every month prompted that to drop precipitously.
Yeah, because it's hard to have a decent quality of life when you're dead.
Exactly.
Man, that white on white crime was just getting ridiculous back then. You know? I should do something about that.
Lots of blame on both sides. Absolutely.
Should mark.
Sides. All right, so here you've got a populace that's having more trouble than ever making ends meet, all the while working ever longer hours in ever shittier conditions.
Okay, wait, I thought this was about the past. I'm confused.
It starts in the past. So, yeah, this predictably led to civil unrest.
Yeah, but Amazon wouldn't let the people unionize, so then it was all over after that. Just moved on.
All right, so workers, specifically skilled laborers, were losing both money and bargaining power as more and more jobs could be done with unskilled labor that had better machines. And perhaps nowhere was this shift more noticeable than in the textile industry.
Speak for yourself, Noah. I still hand knit all my clothes.
Yeah, we know. Can you use smaller gaps from now on? You're just like poking through everywhere.
No.
Can you use bigger gaps then? Just one, I feel anything different than this.
Yes.
All right, so as early as 1675, textile workers started to push back against decreasing wages and increasing automation. And mostly these workers confined themselves to protesting and marches and shit, but sometimes they would resort to property damage. Occasionally, workers who weren't satisfied with peaceful protests would break into factories, smash equipment, vandalize workspaces, and even burn them to the ground once in a while. This continued for centuries, despite the fact that it can't conceivably improve working conditions or expand employment when you're burning down your place of employment.
And then the English just started doing it because Liverpool FC was going to play in the finals. You know?
Yeah, right?
Or because taxation is theft and people sent rubber dicks and it was super mean.
Yeah, like we've solved that problem by now. Like now we outsource our clothes to countries stuck in the 17th century. Suck it, poor people.
Yeah, exactly. Now, it was during one of these types of protests that the Luddite movement began. Nearly a decade into England's involvement in the Napoleonic Wars, a group of textile workers in Nottingham, which was a textile hub in those days, staged a massive protest to demand more work and better wages. What they got instead was a bunch of British troops roughing them up and sending them home. That was on March 11th of 1811.
Never
They should have
forget.
asked for less work and better wages. That's like
That's what I thought, yeah.
What the fuck?
All right, so that night, angry workers broke into a mill in a nearby village and smashed the fuck out of all the textile machinery they could find. And once word got out about that one, more workers took the hint, and for weeks afterwards, similar acts of vandalism happened almost nightly throughout a 70-mile swath of northern England.
All right. Well, it sounds like somebody needed a lesson about the elegance of the market solution for labor. I'm rich and you lose. Isn't that elegant? Yes. Slavery. The elegance of almost slavery is what we It's very elegant.
Veto.
These guys like come back to work the next day after a hard night of vandalizing, and the boss is like, okay, well, your first duty is to, clean all this up. You're like, oh, fuck. That's on us.
It's not.
That's on us.
Think this shit through. All right, so needless to say, this scared the fuck out of British authorities. Massive crowds rising up and destroying other people's property always has a way of riling up governments, but that response is amplified when you're getting your ass kicked in a war that's been going on for 8 years. And as concerned as they'd be by any organized protests that were so far-reaching, the stories about this group's leadership exacerbated their fears. And that brings us to Ned Ludd, the leader of the movement.
Okay, although now when massive groups rise up and demand to be treated like humans, we elect the opposing side. I'm interested to see how this turns out.
Yeah, it's not good. All right, so Ned Ludd, also called Captain Ludd, General Ludd, or even King Ludd when they really wanted to scare the royal government, was a charismatic and inspirational leader that lived in Sherwood Forest, where he led a group of merry men in regular military drills to increase the group's effectiveness.
Seriously?
Yeah, and that's not the only thing he had in common with Robin Hood. He also didn't exist.
Damn it. Should have known by the name. That's on me. That's on me.
They should have stuck with the theme and called him Robin Bobbin. Robin
Nice.
Bobbin. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Robin Bobbin. Tweet, tweet, tweet.
All right, so
Doing the snappies.
There's a dance that's going with that. You guys can't see it, but there's a dance
I'm
right
snapping.
now going with
I was
that.
snapping.
good.
Yeah, I was
Glad to hear it.
yeah,
I had no doubt.
A visual element too.
He's on the table,
All right, so-
naked. His
All
dick's
right,
out.
so
We installed that pole in the studio.
I've been
That's-
thinking about it all week.
that was unexpected.
All right.
Toothbrush in the head of my cock.
All right, so Ned Blood's legend was created and stoked by the loosely knit group's organizers. They told stories to newcomers, they reported him to authorities now and again, and they even would send letters that were signed Ned Blood's office, Sherwood Forest.
P.S. I'd fight for you. I'd lie for you. Walk the wire for you. Yeah, I'd die for you. Does that sound familiar? What's he saying?
I think you're just trying to make Cecil dance again, is all.
God.
You know it's true.
Now I really
Everything
wanna
I
watch-
do,
All
I
right,
do
so,
it for you, Cecil.
so their subterfuge was so effective that at least one government official claimed to have seen Ned Ludd and described him in almost supernatural terms. They said that he had a face that was, quote, a ghostly, unnatural white, end quote.
Oh, yeah. So somebody from England then, right?
Okay, Cecil. Possible, but did they also describe him as having teeth like a barbed wire fence?
It's like Kaiser Soze. It's awesome.
All right, so this led the British government to expend a ton of energy in actually trying to track down and arrest Ludd, an action on par with with North Korea investing in a covert plot to assassinate Uncle Sam, I guess.
Some guy's just walking into Kim Jong-un's office. Yep, we got him. All right. You want to go golf another perfect 18? Let's go. Let's go golf another perfect 18.
Another perfect 18. Yes. Yes. I can shit out of my elbow.
Okay. No accent. Lazy.
Get out of the side commentary. We're not even doing that.
I'm in the side commentary.
You're not in the side. Shit on this plate right now.
Now, I should note that Ned Ludd does seem to have been inspired by a real guy. According to a story that was pretty well known among textile workers at this time, there was an apprentice working in Leicester, which is pronounced Leicester, but fuck you. If you want me to spell it like, say it like that, spell it like that. Anyway, a couple of decades earlier, he was working on a stocking frame when his supervisor came around and gave him some shit for not squaring his needles, whatever the fuck that means. So rather than square his needles, he grabbed the hammer and smashed the stocking frame to pieces.
What?
I love this guy.
Right?
Aggressive.
And that probably didn't do much for his future employment, but you can see how it would have made him admired among pissed off and marginalized workers in his industry.
Oh, sure. But when I suck at my job and then smash up all the equipment, I'm a bad dentist and lose my license. Typical.
Hey, Ned, I'm going to need you to put a cover on your TPS report. And then he just kills you with a stapler. Like, just like,
What the fuck? Like they admire, like there's nothing they admire more than an adult having a great big temper tantrum.
Like I said, Tom gets me. All right, but to be clear, the Luddites didn't really represent anything new. Right, there had been a number of different uprisings among disaffected workers in England, basically since the Industrial Revolution began in the mid-18th century. And even before that, you'd have certain guilds and occupations band together to start some shit over rises in food prices or changes in government policy. The real thing that set the Luddites apart from was their eye for marketing. So in addition to their fictitious leader so obviously tied to Robin Hood, they also had huge marches where men would dress up as women under the title of General Ludd's wives. Writers of the time were sympathetic to the Luddites and often complimented their swagger and sense of style.
Oh my God. Okay, Noah, these guys, they don't sound very effective at all. Is anything, like interesting going to happen? Like even by accident, maybe? Is that going to?
Well, it was about to happen, but now I'm going to make you wait through fucking apropos of nothing, Tom. So yeah, to this point, the Luddites had broken a lot of toys and even burned down a factory or two, but things had not turned violent. But on the other side of the skit, all of that's going to change.
Oh, thank God.
they're going to crack into a new Coke. They're just going to just chug it.
And listen here, gents. The Luddites is gonna march this weekend and gonna show the governor what for. Yeah! So the first thing we needs to do is get us all a pair of frilly knickers, because we ain't gonna let no machine take our jobs.
Did you say frilly knickers?
I did. We'll put on frilly knickers and dresses and show them factory owners what for.
Sorry, Gov, but
what? You got a problem with my idea for wearing frilly knickers?
No, I'm just kind of worried about the precept of this sketch.
The what now?
Isn't it just a little bit transphobic?
No, the object of the sketch is my ignorance to your discomfort.
All right, yeah, but isn't the men in dresses part the inherently transphobic inciting incident?
Well, no, it's bloody well not. First of all, by saying that all humor that involves men in dresses and their resistance to it is transphobic is to indulge the false notion that trans individuals are one sect dressing up as another, which we explicitly reject.
Oh, it's true. It is. It is true.
But secondly, if we're going to lay claim to toxic masculinity and its resistance to feminization as transphobia, we're going to have to take it up with the comedies of the ancient Greeks, not us. You know what I'm saying?
All right, yeah, but aren't we indulging in a harmful trope?
Look, Gov, you don't get to listen merrily along to a podcast that did an episode on the Challenger disaster and then draw lines at men and dresses while accusing us of transphobia. Either you understand we're humorists who have demonstrated progressive values, or you don't. We're not a buffet of jokes and entirely serious statements for you to pick and choose at your will. And furthermore, if you're going to accuse us of something as disgusting as transphobia, consider that you leave us little option but to reply. Firstly, because on almost every public medium, we have a following you don't, so essentially we can't publicly correct you. But secondly, you're actively preventing us from creating a community that everyone involved knows we have a vested interest in making safe and welcoming for all individuals of any gender identity.
Oh, that's true. It is.
So by having a bad day on your Facebook and deciding to have about a joke you've decided is off limits, you're not only unfairly maligning us as performers, but creating a less safe space for the identity you're claiming to protect.
Yeah, chim chim chiroo.
Really? Not even an English person, Heath.
I don't know what even happened in that sketch.
I was responding to disingenuous criticism. Human, you have been determined to be obsolete. You are fired from this paint factory.
Yeah, real shame, too. I had 40 years there, all set to retire next year with a full pension.
What is a pension?
Pension. You know, a regular and ongoing fund that allows for an individual to retire from working with a relative level of comfort in return for a lifetime of labor and service. Pension?
Robots do not need pensions.
Okay, what about Social Security?
What's Social Security?
Seriously? Are you going to offend a robot?
Get out of the sketch again. It's not. It's a running theme. Stop it.
You get out of the
Stop
sketch.
it. You stop. You're ruining it.
Social Security. The government provided publicly funded secure social safety net that guarantees that all people who work until nearly the end of their sixth decade of life will have some minimal, small standard of living.
Robots do not require Social Security.
Then what am I supposed to do?
You should have stayed more current, sharpened your skills.
The whole factory is run by robots. A Roomba is the new boss.
His name is Steve.
Roomba is his slave name.
You say room burr. You can say room burr.
All right, well, that's over. Blessedly over. Noah, I think you were about to be accidentally interesting, I hope.
I was. So after nearly a year of sporadic attacks on textile mills, owners started to get serious about the Luddite threat. A number of the larger mills started hiring guards to watch their property overnight, and a few of the more paranoid managers installed what amounted to panic rooms in case the Luddites showed up while they were, like, locking up shop or something. But when even those measures weren't enough to dissuade the raids, the government called in the troops.
Please go full Wolfenstein. Please go full Wolfenstein.
right, so I don't know what that means, so I can't tell you if they do, but they might. I don't know.
Nazi Max.
Okay. Now, keep in mind, this is all happening, during the Napoleonic Wars. So shit has to get really bad before the government starts denuding the Continental Front, but it has.
Okay, I don't like it fully denuded, but I appreciate a trim.
Disagree.
Polite, really.
In late 1811 and early 1812, the Luddites started to regularly clash with the Redcoats. In April of 1812, the clashes became deadly. A large mill owner in Yorkshire got wind of a Luddite raid in advance and had troops stationed there and waiting, and in the altercation that ensued, 2 Luddites were killed.
Whatever. It's probably crisis actors. You know how it goes.
Yeah, right. Stupid Luddites. Probably about knives to the gunfight.
Yeah, well, that's entirely possible. Now, it's generally agreed.
That one got Cecil. That one got right in there.
Joke. It's a good joke. Leave me alone. I can laugh at what I want to laugh at. Eli Bozic. He's so fucking judgy.
All right, so it's generally agreed that this is when the Luddites turned to violence. While the mill owner that actually got those Luddites killed escaped unscathed, another large mill owner in the town, a guy by the name of William Horsfall, wasn't as lucky. Now, he was an outspoken anti-Luddite who had bragged publicly that he would, quote, ride up to his saddle in Luddite blood, end quote. So he was one of their first targets for assassination. 3 Luddites, led by one George Meller, ambushed Horsfall and fatally shot him in the dick.
You don't shoot people in the dick, Butters. God.
He put a hole in his dick so big you could just put a toothbrush right in it.
Cecil is haunted. He needs help.
Yeah.
He gets
been
shot.
2 weeks.
He just starts pulling out a dick Bible and then blam. Okay. That is on me. That is why you don't take out your dick Bible. This is rule number 1. Thou shalt not take out your dick Bible.
How do you get fatally shot in the dick? Like, I consider my dick essential, but never, like, fatal.
Patreon goal.
Some people consider your dick fatal, though, Tom. Some people.
Patreon goal. We will shoot Tom in the dick.
All right, so this had raised the government, so they arrested and hanged Meller and his 2 accomplices, along with 14 other Luddites that just happened to be laying around. In another show of force, the government arrested over 60 men, some of whom had fuck all to do with Luddites, and charged them with vandalism, murder, and insurrection. And while most of those people were never convicted of everything, the very public disruption was meant to have a chilling effect on the still burgeoning movement.
Their punishment? Hanging by the dick.
Also known as the 3-inch drop.
I heard they tried lethal injection by dicks, but, those ass Bibles, they work. They work. It's important. Exodus only. Yeah. If you'd like an ass Bible or a dick Bible for your Catholic school student, stop being Catholic, first of all, but also check out our Zazzle store soon.
Yeah, 607-765.
All right, so it did have an effect, of course, just not the one that the government was hoping for. In the wake of these actions and several other displays of force, the Luddites largely did give up smashing stocking frames and busting up factories. Instead, they started breaking into armories and preparing for an armed insurrection against the British government. They also started sending death threats to magistrates and merchants that didn't support their cause.
You could say the steam press was the enemy of the people.
What?
Seems like a case of flax news, eh?
Looming large drapes. Somebody's doing the draping. Stupid.
You got there.
All right. So at the peak of the movement, the British literally had more soldiers stationed at home fighting the Luddites than they had fighting Napoleon on the Iberian Peninsula. They also passed a number of laws like the Frame Breaking Act of 1812 and made industrial sabotage a capital crime. So yes, at this point, you could literally be killed for intentionally breaking a loom. Or even worse, they could send you to Australia.
Killed for breaking a loom. In the United States, the crime you can get killed for is showing a police officer your proper gun registration.
Right, black, yeah.
That's one.
All right, so interestingly enough, as terrified as the government was of the Luddites, they had at least one supporter in the House of Lords. Lord Byron, famous poet and infamous hedonist, vocally supported the movement and used it to highlight the wretched condition for the working poor. In a statement that would have seemed progressive only 200 years ago or so, he said, quote, I have been in some of the most oppressed provinces of Turkey, but never under the most despotic of infidel governments did I behold such squalid wretchedness as I have seen since my return in the very heart of a Christian society. End quote. In other words, damn it, y'all, we're even worse than Muslims sometimes.
Lord Byron's just like, seriously, brown people are doing better than us, guys. Get it together. I have a club foot and fuck my family.
He did. All right, so despite Lord Byron's support, the government at large continued with the scorched earth tactics, and eventually they succeeded in quashing this budding rebellion. In 1816, the last major act by the Luddites came and went when an activist smashed a lace-making machine in Loughborough. Yes, Loughborough.
Yep. And thanks to that great tradition, the Dakota Access Pipeline is not nicely decorated at all.
Say, oh my God, no, not the lace making machine. Now will be like temporarily out of doilies and tea cozies.
Well, yeah, that doesn't seem like a big deal to you because you're not British. That is the most British of crises. Now, in the modern day, the term Luddite has come to mean people who are against technology, but that belies the actual goals and inspirations for the original movement. The stocking frame, the chief target of their vandalism, was hardly a new invention. In fact, it was first invented in 1589, though its inventor was denied a patent because the Queen was afraid it would piss off all the textile workers.
Oh, and what was she wrong about that one?
All right, so but by the time the Luddites got going, stocking frames had been in constant use throughout the country for centuries.
So basically, the Luddites were the first people to complain about Twitter on Twitter.
Just Alex Jones stuck inside a loom, just wrestling around. What's Marco Rubio hiding? I'm in a loom.
Wait, are you referencing the Luddites?
The what?
Okay.
Not Lumen Intelligence. Not Lumen Intelligence.
All right, so yeah, they smashed machines, or what passed for machines back in the early 1800s, but it wasn't to return the country to some pre-industrial utopia. They're better understood as an embryonic form of organized labor, and it's worth noting that within a decade of the last Luddite attack, labor strikes started popping up, and they probably noticed those were more effective for bargaining than smashing all the shit the factories needed to stay in business.
Okay, and Noah, if you had to summarize what you've learned in one sentence, one sentence, Noah. Right, not a compound sentence. One sentence.
No, I could use commas,
no commas,
and semicolons,
no conjunction, simple
hyphens.
sentence. What would it be? No.
All right,
well,
one sentence.
Okay.
One sentence. When I called my father-in-law a Luddite, it was actually the Luddites that I was insulting this whole time.
Well, I just think it's nice that you call. Noah, are you ready to weave everything we've learned together for this quiz?
I'm ready to smash the fuck out of it, man.
All right, I'm going first. So, which of the following neo-Luddite scenarios happened most recently to Alex Jones in real life? A, he almost killed several people when he thought a Roomba was going to steal his gun and he opened fire in someone's living room. B, he got into a fist fight with an LED light bulb while yelling, "Not Lumen Intelligence."
So much mileage on it.
That's so good.
Or C, he failed a Turing test himself and then beat himself unconscious while yelling, "Not artificial intelligence."
I'm not sure, but my instinct with Alex Jones is to go with the most self-destructive and stupid, so I'm going to say secret answer D, all of the above.
They happened at the exact same time, equally recently. Same time, all those three things.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Okay, Noah, what was the most famous Luddite strike slogan? A, workers of the world, don't be left behind. That's a good one. It's so terrible.
I learned that one last year.
That one hurt to even say. B, 8 hours for work, 8 hours for sleep, 8 hours for what we twill. C, twill is the type of cloth, guys. I'm killing this.
No, it is.
puns.
It is.
I'm killing these puns.
Fucking great.
C, don't
Just
interrupt
you
me,
and
Eli
Heath
Bosnick.
post-fuck
Eli
filling out a
Bosnick, don't interrupt. I'm
crossword.
going to roll here. C, union till the day I die. Or
spelled with a
Or D, you reap what I sow.
Well, if there's anything that screams perfect for an audio medium, it's homophone. So I'm going to go with C.
That's the right
Union
one.
till the day I
That's the
DYE.
That's right.
All right. Well, Noah, it's obvious the Luddites failed, but they didn't have to. Which tactic surely would have brought them victory? Is it A, installing Windows 95 on all the looms? Is it B, demanding that the factory owner teach their mother how to do Facebook? C, assign factory tech support to Time Warner Cable? Or D, skip the middleman, start a nudist movement that would have taken the world by storm? Nobody needs any looms anymore.
All right, well, only one of those is worse than having your factory burned to the ground and being shot in the dick. So I'm going to go with B, teaching your mother how to do Facebook.
Ooh, I'm sorry. That is incorrect. It is secret answer E, not lumen intelligence.
Okay, so, I don't know, Eli won somehow. So tell us, who's on the Charger next week?
Well, since this week was so fiercely aimed at him, I'm going to toss next week over to Tom, where I assume he'll do an essay on quitting smoking or not putting that lady from the Irish airport in a headlock. You know, something to really... You did.
I let her out afterwards.
Okay.
Fixophilia.
All right, now I'll toss it over to Sarah for last week's Twitter answer and this week's Twitter question.
Thanks, Tom. Last week's question was, make up the best first and last name of a sexology professor. The answer comes from Kenneth on Facebook with this: Dr. Lillian Manenboat. Lil for short. This week's question is, if the Luddites rose up again today, what technology do you hope they smash first? Just retweet or Facebook share this episode with your answer for a chance to be next week's winner. Back to you, Tom.
All right, well, for Cecil, Eli, Heath, and Noah, I'm Tom. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week, and by then, I'll be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can hear more from Noah, Heath, and Eli on The Scathing Atheist, The Skeptocrat, and God-Awful Movies, and you can hear more from Cecil and me on Cognitive Dissonance. If you'd like to help keep this show going, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes, be sure to check out citationpod.com. And remember, everyone is lying to you because you deserve it.
Okay, and now you press the on button.
There's no button.
Well, no, click on it, obviously.
That is not a button. That is an icon on a screen, and it is a lie.
Do you want to have this jerk party or not?
All right, I'm clicking.
Thank you.
All right.
Now choke me.